Another beautiful day, another opportunity for us to have candid rugby conversations. Welcome to the Fat Cats Rugby Podcast. Ruben Kihumuro back in the fly half position. We do not know yet where Lewis has gone, but we'll let you know once we find out. As usual, I'm here with Edwin Wabire, fellow Fat Cat, and we have a couple of very distinguished people, as I always say. And I always take the opportunity to try and give them at least a few seconds to introduce themselves, because I do not like to be in a position to mess up people's titles. Titles are very important. They always say ladies first. Marcelina, the floor is yours. Please just introduce yourself in a few seconds.
Thank you, Ruben. Marcelina here. Black Pirates fans and membership coordinator. Very ardent rugby fan. Been here for, I can now say 5 years. I proudly talk about that. I've watched rugby for more than 5 years now.
Women in sports.
Well done.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. Really, really happy to be here to discuss some good rugby today.
Yeah. So, what does the membership coordinator do exactly?
Well, you are in charge of handling the various coordinations for fans. You want to make sure your fans are paying up membership, because we have fans that are not club members. So you want to make sure people are being a fan but paying up your membership. We have membership plans in levels: bronze, premium, platinum. So everyone is encouraged to come in and become a full paid member.
So if someone wants to become a member, how do they get in touch, or what are the steps to take?
All right. Because sport is everywhere. When you want to become a member physically, when you come to games and all engagements, I'm usually there. Or you can talk to anyone, any of the Pirates. For my club, I'll speak for my club.
Yeah.
They are everywhere, and everyone is willing to connect you to me. But on Twitter, we have a handle particularly for Pirates fans. So if you're interested in being a member, you can just hit them in the DM. We shall present you with the plans and what it takes, the benefits, and welcome you and initiate you. It usually starts from an initiation in a WhatsApp group, a conversation. We get to hear your life story. Why are you in rugby? Then we take you on.
Okay, I think Edwin mates need to become a Pirates member. So, Desire, you're very welcome to the Fat Cats podcast.
Thank you.
Yeah, the floor is yours.
Oh, so yeah, Desire Derek for Melissa, head of corporate affairs, Next Media. But very much so a rugby fan. Usually scream Hidden Stuko. Gets to that. And I first supported the club 2004. Yeah.
Wow.
Hey!
Veteran.
Really? You've been in rugby that long? That's very interesting.
Yeah, not as active. Of course, 2004, that was my senior too. Initiated into the game. Shouts out Bonnie Moro. Those are our guys. Those are the guys who initiated us into the game. Of course, it was holidays, come through, watch a game or two. But it was so expensive because we couldn't afford sticks. And so we had entrance and all of that. And then after that, the hustle came in very much until the mentor decided, you know what, you need to relax a little bit on the job. Make some time for yourself. And the first love was rugby. Got back in there. It's been quite the journey, caught up with the fans and quite a number of new people up there and stuff. So we're catching up from where we left off.
Yeah. How was you? Actually, I think you read my mind, because that is where we were going. Just try and understand how both of you got into loving rugby, the sport that we all love. How was Arua?
Yo!
Everyone has been complaining about the journey.
No one has a good experience about the journey. I'm waiting for someone to tell me we had fun on the road trip.
I do. The journey for us, by us I mean the Heathens fans one, was a fun one. Hardly slept on there. It was a lot of music. It was phases of the infamous songs.
Yeah. No, but I really have to appreciate the Heathens and how they organize themselves. I think Pirates also is following suit with the Pirates fans as well. Those are the two clubs I think I can give a lot of credit to.
I think we need to give due credit to the hippos. They're impressive as well.
Yeah.
they're coming
from
on
Ginger.
quick.
They did
They're
carry
coming on
funds
really
as well.
quick.
Yeah, the hippos and the heathens were definitely there. But it was a fun trip. It was a lot of a bit of a culture shock for those who had never been to Arua and how things actually operate and stuff like that. Different people. It was a fun-filled weekend. I came back with no voice. Yeah.
I'm glad that you got it back in time for the podcast.
Yeah.
Marcelina, so just to understand, we see you on the timeline, we see you even at Kings Park or wherever Pirates goes, and you're so passionate about this club. How did you get into loving Pirates?
Okay, so I started watching rugby in senior 4.
Okay.
Back then in school as a sports girl, so you go for sports school games, and I used to play basketball. So there's those two sports that are prominent. You're either a basketballer or the rugby boys who are getting your attention and all that. So I started watching. I think I started watching rugby when I think in my S4, I think the Casitos had just come out and they were in Cobs. So every time I came home, I'd be like, I want to go to Legends. And you have nothing to tell your parents, but like, we'll just go and watch that. So I did that. I went through school. I got out of school. So after Form 6, I'm thinking, okay, what am I going to do with my time? Because I don't have a lot of time to play basketball anymore. So then I had friends here and there. I remember that was the under-19 team, I think 2016. Chisiga, Nkore, those were my people. So I come through, and then I started watching them from Sailors, and then it just got into rugby, and it was easy to make time to watch rugby being a girl, so I didn't need to tell my parents a lot of curfew stories because basketball is played at night. So explaining to your father why you're going to come home at 11 because our game is done, he'll be okay with, okay, you go for 4 and come back at 8. So it became a part of me, and then I loved it, and administration and Pirates was fun. I met a lot of my age mates, so it was easy to relate to people who are my age, and the old guys have stories, and so here we are.
Yeah, I think Pirates has a very, very big part to play in ushering in the next generation of fans, players, because the demographic is a lot younger and people feel a lot more comfortable. I think that is why they are very prominent, especially on social media, because that is the age, the Gen X or everything. So Edwin, I'm seeing a new haircut. You didn't go to Arua. What have you been up to?
Man, I was just following social media updates of scores, semi-final, final, group stages as well. Now that I have an opportunity to watch a few games this weekend, I had to cut my hair.
Do you care to share with us what outfit you're going to be putting on?
Well, I think
for the Rujumba Sevens?
I have a wardrobe of many NBA jerseys, but
why not?
I think
I'll
put on some rugby jerseys this weekend. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Sure, my wardrobe is rich.
Well, you always pronounce yourself the Fat Cats Octopus.
Yes.
Your predictions for the weekend. I remember you said something. What was your prediction again?
I said Heathens, Pirates, Hippos, and then when it came to Cobs Impis, I threw out Cobs and I put Impis, and that was the final 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Impis, yes, was in the final. Hippos was in the final.
Yeah.
Heathens proving to be very dominant.
Yes.
As they say, Heathens, Yamanya. I know desire is filled with a lot of joy.
A lot of energy now.
But
Yeah.
aside from all that, I think let's just get into the gist of what we wanted to talk about today. There is never a week where social media doesn't have something to give us. From fans complaining about something, from players having an issue, from even sometimes, let's say, the union slipping up in one way or the other. We just saw, I think from our end, there was no prior announcement that, okay, there's something big happening or anything. We just saw one day there was a presser. NBS Sports is signing an agreement with the Uganda Rugby Union, which is bound to start this weekend at the Rujumba Sevens, streaming the games. Could you please enlighten us on what the agreement was and maybe a breakdown, because there was a lot of conversation about that this week.
Yeah. So I'd say next media through the brand NBA Sport, because that too has something that it means.
Yeah.
It means that our value and everything that we bring to the table does not stop at NBS Sport. So that's why I need us to go the direction of next media through or leading with the brand of NBS Sport, got into a partnership with the Uganda Rugby Union, and these are partnerships that we've done with various federations down here in Uganda as part of our strategy in championing Ugandan sport. Now, one of the things that we feel is our DNA, what we do and what we can bring to the table, but then there is things you can't do because you need someone else who does them. And that is the fact that there are people who run a sport, and this is an idea that came up during COVID-19, after the first wave going into the second, a couple of sports needing to go out there and stuff like that. And the person who is now our head of sports operations, Web Daniel Sebachije, comes up with an idea about, can we have partnerships with different federations and unions so we can support them through COVID-19 on some of our platforms to air their games. People are at home, they need to catch up on the sport in as much as people are isolating. And it was at about that time that the group CEO thought, okay, cool, that's a very good idea. Why don't we just do a whole TV station out of that? And that is how the path of NBS Sport came through.
Okay.
So as part of the plan, it was that we would partner with federations and bring sport to the people, add value to them. And also from our standpoint, our vantage point, the fact that we already are in the business of selling airtime, ideally we're already dealing with the corporate companies that might need to get involved with sport. Now, traditionally, we've also had issues whereby, again, leaders who are in charge of the budgets have sanctioned this amount of money, it has gone into sport, and then either they've suffered PR damage in terms of rowdy fans and negative PR and stuff like that, and they've decided, you know what, we're not going back into sport. So you go back to renew your contract, and they're saying, nah, we don't. The common phrase will be, we don't get enough value from sport. I don't see why I should invest my money there when I can get the same money and invest it in adverts, invest it in concerts, because I know it's a one-off and stuff like that, and all of that. So they had alternatives, and we are stating that, you know what, there is a very good alternative in you spending your money with sport. We deal with the sports teams and the sports leagues and federations on a daily basis in terms of coverage and stuff like that. We can be your bridge. So we are saying that, hey, you are the sport. Maybe many a time you are suffering the challenge of trust and stuff like that. But very importantly, you are sports people. You might not know how to give the value you need to that at least resonates with these corporate people. Can we be that bridge between the corporate world and the sport and build the value and build entities that are what these corporates refer to as commercially viable? Because at the end of the day, what they're doing is they're really investing money in these games, and they're investing that money so they can make profit out of them. The profit usually might not be cash-wise, but in terms of, for example, we are talking rugby here, at the start of this sponsorship, how many bottles of Nail Special will I find unaided at a table of drinkers before we sponsor this game, vis-a-vis if I walked away from a rugby ground tomorrow and I went to that bar, how many will I now find there? And I think that is part of the value that the sport might bring to them. So if they say we're going to invest X billion or million shillings, I need to see if there was one bottle or zero on tables around Kampala, can I find 5? And that is how I will register my success. So at the end of the day, again, it is a matter of understanding how do these people calculate value so you can offer that to them. And that really is what we were offering. And that's exactly what, it's a similar deal that we have had with different federations and all of that. And so it's a broadcast and streaming, streaming because that is what this crowd prefers to look at it. But we're really saying it's a little bit more, but the core of it is around broadcast and digital streaming rights. So what we are saying is, when it comes to the live broadcast and live streaming of these games, there is exclusivity. That's what we are looking for.
Okay.
And why are we looking for exclusivity? Because again, when a product is saturated, when I can find a product just about everywhere, then I have poked so many holes and I need to trap them in so many different ways, and it's already spread out. So we're saying, let's have this exclusivity. Let's do our best, all of us, with what we do best, to ensure that it is something that can be bought, for starters, by people who are out there, understand that rugby is a huge sport, and it really is a huge sport, and can now put that money there. And then, in a given period of time, now we are saying that, can we now sell it and say, you know what, I am NBS Sport, I am X Sport or X TV, I am Y TV, that contract is expiring, I want in. And at that point, that TV station that will be competing for those rights, and I know we will be back in there, will be stating that these guys were able to maybe provide this kind of value or make this amount of money from our estimate. And we are saying that we are going to commit this amount of money now to acquire those rights. But at the end of the day, it's also us committing that money and saying that we are maybe committing, let's say, $1 billion, because we are sure that with what we can do with that investment, maybe we'll make 1.5, maybe we'll make 2. At the end of the day, it's a business for everyone, and we are all looking for how can we be better in one way or the other. But while at it, how are we improving the product that we do have right now? Is it something that we can carry and present in a boardroom and say, this is good enough for you to commit this amount of money? So that's really the rest is really details that we can discuss as far as we can during this conversation.
Yeah, I think that's elaborate, I should say. Has NBS Sports and the Next Media streamlined or broadcast any sport before rugby, or is this the first venture? Forgive me. Actually, I'm very excited that it's now going online, because I'm more of an online person. I barely watch TV, like traditional TV. So I'm just wondering, yeah.
No. So we own a station named as Sanyuka, which until now was our sports arm, sports and entertainment, but our sport was going through that.
Yeah.
And through Sanyuka Television, I think that should have been 2018. We managed, while working with the flagship sponsor, or the title sponsor of the Uganda Premier League, for the Star Times, Uganda Premier League, secured the rights to broadcast that Uganda Premier League. I want to, and we are proud of the fact that we were the first Ugandan brand to actually broadcast the Top Flight League. Prior to that, it had been, of course, with Azam, with Supersport, and from the figures we got at that point, the most number of games that they had broadcast through a season had been 36 games through a season. Our first season, we broadcast 47 games in our first season, which was up to about 63 in there. And with this last season, we were at about 86 games a particular season. So we've been going up over those 3 seasons that we've done that. Prior to doing that, of course, we know that, I don't know if we can drop names of brands that have been supporting sport in whatever. We know that MTN had been in football and had been banned, or had their fingers banned in one way or the other. Again, stories for another day. We managed to convince them to get back through our relationships and stuff like that. First as broadcast partners, and then a little bit later, they got into a conversation with the federations, and they got back in there. And now there is them, there are a couple of beverage people, there are banks that are now going into that particular one. We also have got experience. We've been broadcasting the National Basketball League
Okay.
Even before NBA Sport was opened. We've done the National Basketball League. We've done the Pearl of Africa Rally. We've done the MTN Marathon. We've done, now we are doing hockey, we are doing pool, we are doing table tennis. So yes, we have the experience broadcasting sport in there. And now we are coming into rugby, and the team is simply telling me we are ready.
That's great. Marcelina, just to bring you into this conversation, um, as a fan of the game and as an organizer of the Rujumba Sevens that are coming up this weekend, the fact that NBA Sports is going to be streaming its first set of games this weekend.
Can we use broadcasting? Because I think that is
Broadcast.
our differentiator.
All right,
Yes.
okay. They're going to be broadcasting the games this weekend. What are your thoughts? What are your sentiments towards that? And basically, generally, how do you feel and how do you think that can elevate the Rujumba Sevens?
Well, I'll take it from being a
Okay.
fan's perspective. We have, as rugby, I hope we are allowed to. The time when Kawo was doing this, it was good. It was something that people actually hooked onto because not everyone can make it to every ground.
Okay.
Edwin was saying he couldn't make it to Arua. I probably will not be able to make it, let's say, to Fort or to Ginger or to. But being able to be in the atmosphere, that spend your Saturday seated behind your screen and watching the games going on fully, and you are informed. You're not on your TL waiting for the media handler to put the update of the score. It keeps you in the sport, and it's a really good thing. But also, it's been a long time coming. I think the time is now for us to be able to watch rugby and local rugby on our TVs and at home in the comfort of your where you get comfortable, your phone, because we've watched all other sports, but rugby has been, I want to say, not lagging behind, but it's been slow. Even
Yeah.
putting it out there at Stanbic Black Pirates, we had a deal. We have Next Media as our sponsors, but I would say it's not been the easiest to get those ads out there. But now having a whole channel that comes out and is going to be broadcasting these games is really a big step. So for Rujumba Sevens, we are really excited because we get to be the first circuit that they will broadcast. And so we are the learning point, but we will also be the first beneficiaries of this deal that the union has got into for the benefit of the club. Also, as time goes on, we have moved, I think as Uganda, we have moved on from having fans just here. We have fans across borders. We have rugby guys who played here and are now in the UK or where. So it's beneficiary for them to be able to follow and watch, and it builds their interest and keeps their love home. That is how they come out tomorrow and support their clubs, because they see what is happening and it's not a story they're just hearing about. So I think it's a very, very good deal if we exploit it at the best of our abilities. And we should be ready to give it and it gives us. It needs to be a give me, I give you, so that we can make it work for everyone. The sport earns, the fans earn, and at large we earn.
Yeah, I think that is very well articulated. But before we continue with this conversation, just to give a shout out to our venue sponsor, Fred and Winnie B&B, located in Kisasi, which is a homestay featuring 10 self-contained private bedrooms consisting of 2 deluxe doubles, 3 standard doubles, 1 deluxe twin, and 2 standard twin bedrooms. The unit comes with a fully equipped kitchen, power backup system, Wi-Fi, laundry services, and a chef to cater to your every meal. Guests at Fred and Winnie B&B enjoy a sumptuous buffet, breakfast with our choice of selected tropical fruits and juices. Pick up and drop off to and from the Entebbe Airport, International Airport, as well as local transportation for getting around or for up-country trips can be arranged if booked in advance. For bookings with Fred and Winnie B&B, call 0752693369. 0752693369. Tell them Fat Cat sent you and get amazing offers. So we have basically heard about that from the fans' perspective and from a brand's perspective, the brand involved, and like Desire was saying, it's broadcasting. But before I bring Edwin into this conversation, I wanted to just ask you this because it's the question that has been going through my mind ever since I heard about the deal, and it's something that I should say I've been a part of, having a bit of a background in commentary as well. There has been Kwese Sports, there has been the DSTV, was it there?
Yeah, Supersport.
Supersport was there. There has been Kao, there has been Kratos. Has Next Media or has NBS Sports done its due diligence? And how are they putting themselves in a position not to come up short like the previous service providers? Because we find ourselves in a situation where that one of the biggest challenges with promoting this game in regards to broadcasting or to streaming or whatever it might be is consistency. We have a certain company X doing it, then it doesn't do it anymore. Then another one comes like that. Then we even have sometimes the union coming up and telling us about something called a fish eye camera that they installed at every rugby stadium or rugby ground, but that has never also come to happen. So how is NBA Sports putting itself in a position to succeed rather than actually reaching a speed bump and then failing to go past it?
Yeah, and that's a very good question. I think at the base of this is, and that's why when we started, I said, let us ensure, not ensure, but let's put it out there that this is Next Media leading with the NBS Sport brand. Next Media in its setup, we currently are 10 companies. And I would love for us not to limit ourselves to one. Again, NBS Sport is the one taking the lead because this is sport that we are partnering in. If we are partnering in something current affairs, NBS would lead. If it's entertainment, Next Radio is always going to take the lead and stuff like that. But that we never leave out the other companies. For example, the team that is broadcasting the game is Next Production, one of the Next Media companies. The team that is charged with the digital promotion of this particular game is Nextcom. So there are different brands that are coming in to support. Where we are doing the interviews, I've seen our friends from Pirates. They've done a decent job.
Yeah, very
lined
good.
up interviews on NBS Sport and to promote the Rujumba Sevens. They've had interviews on Next Radio. They're going to be on After 5 as far as NBS is concerned. So there are all these brands that are coming in to support this. And what we are counting on here is our experience in doing just broadcast. We are not a briefcase company, and I'm not throwing shit at anyone else, whatever. We're not a briefcase company. We have done broadcast for 14 years. When we hire broadcasters who have been in the business with, and usually it's the best of them. Some people have claimed we are poaching or anything. At the end of the day, if you're working somewhere and there is someone who can offer you better and you feel you'll be progressing, you will want to join them and stuff like that. So we are banking on that experience, on that professionalism to do that. Do we have people that have covered a lot of rugby and stuff like that? I'll be the first to tell you no. But the basics are the basics. They have covered football, they've covered basketball, they will bring these things in. And again, even at the press conference, our general manager, Joseph Chigozozo, our deputy group CEO, was committing and saying that, it's going to be a gradual process. And it's not going to be a gradual process on our part alone, We're going to learn a few things. And yes, we'll acquire even more people within the rugby circles to better that product as we go. What we are doing is start. But that said, there is so much more that needs to be done. If as a rugby club or a rugby player, you look at this partnership and you say, you have done. And you sit back and say, where are my benefits in all of this? Then you are going to be the loser in all of this. Just now is the time where we all come in and say, these guys have come together with a good idea. How do we benefit out of them? Pirates have got to have been very proactive in that. A couple of other clubs have been proactive in that. But the most proactive to use that platform and to come and think of whether there is this idea. Ideas are open. The biggest thing that we need with sport right now is going to be product development. We need to get to a point whereby now a team sheet announcement is not a social media post.
Okay.
Let the social media post be the support of the broadcast, for example. Because how many people are on Twitter in Uganda if at all we're going to tweet it?
That's true.
Yeah? Can we now think larger than the people that are already in the game? Can we try to recruit others? Can we find out what are those things that are stopping them from coming to a rugby game, for example? What can I do as Edwin? What can I do as Ruben? What can I do as Mercy? In there. Can I suggest it? And if a good idea is a good idea, man, it flies. So let's produce those products. Let's chip in as a person who is a funds coordinator or maybe in charge of communications at a club. My question today should be, how many of my players' stories have been told on NBS Sport or any next media platform? What do I know about Heathens? What do I know about Corps? And as a club, what have I put out there for clubs to? It's about time that you don't sit back, because then again, there are 20 plus clubs that could benefit from this. Okay. If you sit back as impies or mongers and say, man, those guys don't come to us, no one is going to come to you. The same journalists that are covering rugby are the same journalists that are covering football, they are covering basketball, they are covering. You now need to come forward and say, you know what, guys, I have this thing happening at the club today. It is a news story. I can avail you, Ruben, they can speak to you and stuff like that, and tell me how that won't be covered. So we need to be proactive and make the most of that particular platform. It is there. Yes, we shall be doing our utmost best, but then again, we have targets too. So let's work together and ensure that this thing something comes of this thing.
Yeah. Edwin, just looking at it, first and foremost, before we even get into anything particular, did you know you have image rights? Or did we have image rights when we were playing? Should be claiming a lot, maybe from all the people, the games where
image rights discussion on the PL was.
So we actually had
hilarious.
We had a phone call conversation about that when it came up, but I don't know how a couple of rugby players have been carrying it on, but it started with one, Impis flanker Pius Mpoza, who I think woke up and was like, you know what, I'm a brand. Yeah. I need my image rights. I need to be compensated for that. What are your thoughts about that? And is there anything you'd like to throw off to Desire, maybe to clarify in regards to that for this agreement?
Yeah, rightly so. As a player who puts his body on the line and gives people content in terms of highlight reels, TikToks, and whatever, I mean, there is an aspect of worth of value that you put to your art. So basically, image rights in a nutshell is the reputation that you have and how you can use it to gain commercially. Ideally, that's that. Ronaldo endorsing Fred and Winnie B&B, something like that. Yeah. So if his rights,
I see.
You must have. If we gain commercially, if people see Ronaldo staying here, or saying that I'm associated with this place and people come here, he's expected to gain from that. So the aspect of the players in this case is that if there's going to be a broadcasting deal, the deal should be in a place that they should be trickled down of resources in terms money. Rugby, it's all about money. It's not about beer, it's money. So if the money must trickle down to the player who is going to be on the show, who is going to be or showed on the adverts, for example, who is going to be on the live stream broadcast that is going to be shown on NBS Sports. So ideally, that's what, in a nutshell, the players have to have. Now, it brings in conversations about this particularly. There's been a lot of litigation on aspects of this. For example, I appear on a billboard and I'm seen to be endorsing a bank. There was a case in court about that. She was selling tomatoes and then she said that I did not consent to use my picture in that nature and you're using it to gain commercially. You're going to gain customers. The person who was sued brought on the ad agency that was allegedly responsible for the picture. And a decision was made in that effect that rights were not really granted. And the fact that you're using someone's picture for gain should be something that this person whose picture is used should be benefiting from money-wise. So it now comes down to the aspect of the players. Now, if I'm to get Poza's argument very well, is that, look, Uganda Rugby Union has come out and said we're going to sign an exclusive agreement with the sponsor. There is no other media house, no other channel that will do live broadcasts in regards to sport, other than the company that has been mentioned, that is NBA Sports, through Next Media. Now, the questions that come in here, what is the exclusivity about? Is it about sevens, because you're commencing with the sevens? Is it all URU sanctioned events? Is it the 15s? Is it the sevens? Is it Uganda Cup? Is it, does it even stretch on into schools league? I mean, things like that. Then maybe another thing I'll ask is that aspects of image rights entail that particularly the people whose images will be used or broadcast on your show, picturing you'll get sponsors on board and the like who will be interested in running this thing with you because you said you're a commercially viable brand having worked around for 15 years. How do the players stand to benefit from this? If, for example, a bank, a beer company, a microfinance decides to partner with you and give you the money, but the money does not trickle down to the clubs. I think that's the key thing that we would want to know in this scenario.
Yeah. So as broadcasters, our interest in this conversation is being able to broadcast the game, to stream the game, and those are the rights we requested for. Broadcast rights, digital rights is part of commercial rights as far as the product is concerned. And so are image rights and all the other kinds of rights. The rights we were interested in, and we couldn't have broadcast live without securing them, were broadcast, stream rights, digital rights, which is what we went for. Now, that is not to say that this is not a viable conversation to have. It's definitely a viable conversation to have, but it is not one that we acquired or anything. But, well, we could, not we, the body we are partnering with could have it. But at the end of the day, they are the custodians of that sport in Uganda. When we walk through the door, we request, can we promote, market, broadcast, stream this game? Of course, it's broadcast and streaming, but we need to promote it for us to have people to watch it. We need to promote it for us to be able to say, hey, friends of Pirates, can you, Stanbic Bank, can you come on board? And, we try and amplify this. We'll also maybe give you adverts and stuff like that. And then, hey, this is the share of what we managed to get. We've gotten back our operation costs and stuff like that. Until then, we are investing. So, yes, it's a conversation that they can now have. Same as, how does this get broken down? How can we use this? I'm not gonna make a deal with Ruben and then I say, that's your card, and then also decide how he spends his money and stuff like that. It's up to Ruben. What we've agreed to is we're going to go out together. I am a producer of content. You are an organizer of sports events. We do believe that you have a product that has great potential and we think we can make it work. You do believe that I am a media house that should be able to take you to where you have not been. So we agree that we need each other. Let's get into this thing and let's do it. So that really starts and stops there. But it also sparked the kind of conversation that I personally, now that's where I was pointing out that this is my opinion. This is what I think. Because at that particular point, NBA Sport has no conversation to have about that. Yeah. You get what I mean? Yeah, it has no conversation to have about that. But in my opinion, what I feel that having that kind of conversation now, before we position ourselves, is going to be something that I don't know how I can put it. You know how you see a beautiful car today? Yeah. And Edwin owns it, and you hardly have the money to own it, right? And Edwin tells you, by the way, this car, I got it at 23 million. Yeah. And you tell him, you know what, Edwin, I'm going to give you 23 million when I make money. and then I make money in 5 years,
Yeah.
and I come and want to give you 23 million. It is probably depreciated,
Yeah.
or maybe some things have changed, and now it's even more expensive and stuff. We're trying to eat savings that we've not even made money to be able to look after ourselves before we make the savings. It's a valid conversation to have. I just don't think it's the time for it to be had, which of course rubs a couple of people the wrong way. There's still a few things that we need to put in place. I'll give an example. We've been broadcasting the National Basketball League this whole season.
Yeah.
And out of it, I am trying to look out for the marketable products, and there's not many. In my opinion.
Yeah, in your opinion.
Yes, in my opinion, that's very key. And I think the most marketable product right now is a guy that we commonly call Camelo, Saidi something. And this is because every time they play their game, he's dominating. Yes, he's doing what? Because everyone is dominating, everyone is playing well. But what differentiates you from the rest? He has that signature, like, this is so easy, I'm just rowing through. That is his signature celebration. And you feel like, if I want to stand out and I want to use basketball as a feature, this guy I could use. But I also don't know if he's doing it, intentionally. Maybe it's just a celebration he loves. So after that, maybe I will look at what are his socials like? How does he carry himself in public? When he speaks, who listens to him? Is it the downtown guy? Is it the corporate guy? Is this kind of guy and stuff like that? Then Camelo becomes a product.
Yeah.
And then maybe if I were a marketing brand guy who has a budget to spend and I want to go something a little different from adverts, I would say, you know what, I'm going to use Camelo. And everyone will be like, he's different. What is his story? And then things will align. I feel that we need to make that known. You know what I mean? There are so many great stories around rugby, and of course, naturally, I know many of them.
Yeah.
Around Chadundo, for example, there is a player, we call it, he's Kenyan.
Yes.
And he's pretty much grown up on the rugby pitch. But you're only going to know it because you're around Chadundo.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? But it's a deep story. How have we told that story? What has he done today? Where did he come from? Can someone relate with that story? Can it be strong enough for someone to come out? The thing why we see these people, like, after they've won gold medals out there and they come back and now, they're getting all these things, is because they say, I'm going to invest in this guy and go tell his story. That's why those adverts are shot in their villages as they run, as they train, because someone is going to relate with them. A player, the brand I relate the most with, and I tweet a lot about him, and then someone was pointing it out that, now you're going to take advantage of his image, right? And stuff like that. I don't think it's a topic we all understand so well in the first place. But for me, Joachim Kisano, and he's a new player at Heathens, for me stands out in there because my story is about passion. A couple of people have made jokes about me. You can't work 7 years without a salary,
Yeah.
7 years as a slave and stuff like that. But for me, it was passion. It was drive. It was, I will wake up at 5 a.m. I'll come back at midnight and I'll go back again tomorrow because I'm just passionate about this one thing that I do now. And I feel that Joachim kind of does that. When I watch him on the pitch, you get what I mean? So I relate with him the most. Do I love the other players? Yes, but he stands out. He's different. And so what is that thing that differentiates you from the rest of the players? We need to take care of ourselves. I feel that when we position ourselves at that particular point, then this conversation will make more sense. Not that it is irrelevant now. There's some things we need to take care of. So rather than try and fight for that story, I think it takes us away from what we should be focusing on today. We should be to tell our stories and all of that. How many rugby players are on TV a week today? How many players are being called to an interview and they make it? How less of the rugby politics are we covering and more of the player progression right now? I feel that these are the things we need to pay attention to more to maximize this partnership. Not that they are not important, the image rights and everything and stuff like that, but there will come a time when they are more important where we know, because when we do that right, then we know what Ruben is worth in that moment. That's where the example of the car comes in.
Yeah.
Because right now you are betting and you're saying, no, we have to do this, we have to do this. But there are cases today that were taken care of and have not been looked into. And if at all you commit them, you pay 3,000 shillings and you walk away. But they are grave. That's because they were set way back, not reviewed. You get what I mean? So let's build our brands. Let's the people who are our team, I don't know, is that what the team manager does? Something who are our leaders of the clubs, our chairman and all of that. Let them go out and make sense of these stories. We are, and this is our reality, we are at a point whereby sport is spending too much of what we don't have. We are relying on fans' goodwill. Because even the subscription, and Master should tell us, is the subscription of the funds you have at the Pirates enough to run the club and it's self-sustainable?
Not at all.
No.
Not at all.
Yeah.
So I
So
will tell you that even the sponsorships will not be enough to run a club. Because if a sponsor came today and gave you 200 million Uganda shillings for the year, how much do you need per weekend? How much do you need to train? How much do you need to buy players? How much do you need to pay them?
Cover medical.
To cover the medical and all of that. But no, I've spoken to a couple of club leaders and no, it's a cash economy, it's a cash economy. So they will ignore a swap deal that takes away 15 million of their expense to get 5 million shillings cash, spend it on the same water or whatever it is the other swap person could have given them and still be in a deficit. They prefer to buy 3 big bottles of water a week, spend that cash where someone could have given them 10 bottles of free water that week.
let me come in. I think what you said there is very key. The swap deal. Now, I've also been an advocate for swap deals for Ugandan rugby. For example, having an insurer on board for healthcare and the like, something of that nature. I advertise for you in one or the other, and you give my players medical. I think that's, considering we've had very many players who have suffered injuries and are no longer in the sport because of injuries like that, we advocate for something as strong as that. Now, this is where I come in. The critical thing here is that when you look back on previous sponsors who have been in the media and come on board, they have had somewhat of an injection of money. What is it so special about this deal that it is more of a swap deal and not necessarily any consideration being given to the union in terms of money? I'm not saying there's no consideration, but I'm saying, why is it there is no money in this deal? What is so unique about it that it's more of a swap deal that will get to stream your games? We are going to enjoy exclusivity of broadcasting your content, and then other media houses, if any, for example, Fat Cats, if we want to use your content, we'll reach out to you and then we'll credit you as and when we use it. I think that's one of the things maybe our viewers would want to know.
Yeah, it really just goes down to how expensive it already is for me to execute what my commitment is to that game.
Yeah.
Again, financials are a very hard thing to discuss. But I will tell you, it is tens of millions that you need. And I'll just try to break it down without giving figures, because again, I'm not at liberty to share those.
Yes.
I need to facilitate a team of about 23 to 27 people per broadcast. I need to transport these people, yes, but especially the OB vans, the equipment.
Yeah.
Of course, that differs with where you're going and stuff like that. When I deploy them and I need them to spend the night, I need to ensure that they're paid for in terms of security, But the biggest expenses now come in, the bigger expenses. Those are the smaller operations. The bigger expenses come in on the satellite that I have to pay for to be able to relay that footage back to the TV station and stuff like that. You know, I'll just throw around a figure. Transportation alone for example, when we were looking at going to Arua, transportation alone and a bit of some payments here and there was upwards of 10 million Uganda shillings. Before I have switched on a camera, before I have, you get what I mean?
Yeah.
And I have to do that for an what can I say? I have no idea for how long.
Yeah.
Before we can make money. But please remember, by the time we start making money, as businesses run, you're also now starting to recoup
Yes.
before you break even.
Exactly.
You get what I mean? So
Yeah.
there is that investment in it. Unlike the other partnerships where it could be that it's not operational. Many of these partnerships are not operational. They're really about, I will give you, our deal is going to be worth 300 million. I'll give you 200 of that, and then the 100 will be in what I need to give you that can support the sport, the team, the whatever.
Okay. So this
You know
is
what I mean?
this is more of like a deal that is to promote the sport
It is to
in its
promote the
growth,
sport.
in its growth, and in line with your ideals of saying reach out to all these federations and boost each one of them so that you can become that powerhouse. You mentioned one of the aspects of operational costs and how even as you do your operations, you may not necessarily break even. But one thing you also mentioned is that NBS, your whole brand, is a commercially viable brand in this country when it comes to media and reporting and broadcasting. Now, I mean, sponsors may not necessarily be easy to come to my club or her club or even his other club, but they may be willing to come to you. And this is where, because you have content, which is rugby. Now, in aspects like this, you will have content in the sense of you have players, you have clips of players, you'll highlight everything, you'll get excerpts of clips where you can make highlight reels, TikToks, and whatever. And you may have sponsors who may even jump on you and willing to finance because of who you are. They know that you are commercially viable for all this period of time. Now, the question is here, as players whose content ideally you'll be using, considering you sign an agreement with the union, how is there a trickle down effect? Does it come like a drip, like how you get medicine through a drip? Is there a drip that comes down to the union, comes down to the club, so that everyone can say that, listen, I'm on NBS Sports, I'm recorded on this day and that day, but at least in one way or the other, the club has maybe said that, you know what, this is going to be a match day allowance, and then maybe because we're now on TV, there's some sort of trickle down effect that comes down to you. I think that's what players want to know. In light, before even the image rights issue comes into play, they want to know that, considering a big brand, is there a trickle down effect of any money that may come in from any sponsors who may jump on board considering a big brand?
So I might know a few things,
Yes.
but some of these things are not for me to say.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? So I
Understand.
am certain that this is the thing. As far as this particular deal is concerned, I think that the union will need a bit more credit as far as this is concerned. Because again, over those 120 days that I quoted the other day, these conversations, in one way or the other, they might have not been directly how they've been worded in terms of the questions and everything, have come together.
Yeah.
And yes, there is commercial benefits for even the union, tangible. Now, like I said earlier, it is, as you can see, you're asking me the union's question.
Yeah.
In this case.
Yeah.
As they have shared their accountabilities and stuff like that, I am sure at the right time, they will come out.
If any money is involved, it will show that there was income.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And of recent, we'll go with the track record that there is. We saw how the breakdown of the sevens and this and this and this. I would expect that when that does come through, and it will be seen that it has come through. When that does come through, they will come through and share. They know. Again, like I said, if we craft a deal with Ruben and we said, okay, for it to be fair on both ends,
Yeah.
you need to give us this much, you can take that much as you build up on your costs and whatever. We also have a league to run, we need this much, and then maybe there's a commission here, whatever that is. All that is aligned on a document and stuff like that. I cannot decide how Ruben spends his money.
Okay.
And even if I know what he's going to spend it on, I am not in position. But I know for sure that they've catered for how that benefits the game, the clubs, the players, and they should be in position to share on that.
I think ideally, maybe lastly, why it's a very serious issue is you could see on the TL, it was one of those issues that was quite animated.
Yeah.
I think there's too much PTSD in regards to rugby affairs. And so whenever a sponsorship or something of this nature comes up, there is always this thing of like, man, where's the money? Where's the money? They want to follow the money trail. Sometimes we get lost in that headlight of looking for the money. But I think the key thing here is that the aspect of image rights should be considered very seriously. Why? I'm not saying I have information, but I'm just saying like it's one of those things that can be an issue of tainting a rather good initiative to go ahead with this sponsorship and broadcasting deal. Why? It could come down to aspects of maybe litigation or something like that. But it now comes down to show that on the aspects of the union, and you need not comment on this because they're your partner, but the union now needs to have aspects of communication. And we've always said this. Why? You would expect, as and when the deal is announced, would expect even club chairmen or to have been visible, some few personalities in clubs, a few players to be visible as well, because these are the people whose images, to say the least, are going to be used to broadcast to the world. And from the rugby broadcasting view, I think he will tell you is that there's always been mileage when it comes to that. As long as people can watch their players wherever they are in the world, they would be very, very comfortable. They may not want to enter into the nitty-gritties of it, but as and when something like that stops is when the noise is made. So me, ideally, I would think the union in this case, as maybe could we argue, let's say in quotes, custodians of the image rights of the players, if there are any agreements signed by players or clubs relinquishing such rights or such claims to any commercial gain, should be the one taking lead on discussions of this, Ruben.
Yeah, I think this is a conversation we can really talk about on and on and on. But I think one of the things that I just commented about, or I just tweeted about, was we're asking NBS the questions they're not supposed to be answering. Many of the questions that the players are asking are for the union, because NBS does not have an agreement with the players. NBS has an agreement with the union, and the union is the one that is responsible for the players, for the teams, for the chairman. And maybe we'll get another day where we'll be able to really dissect deeper into this. But just in 30 seconds, Desire, before I hopefully let you go, I just want to understand. We've been talking a lot about the benefits that have been happening, but how? Maybe just outline in 30 seconds, how are the benefits, or what's the bigger picture, I should say? What's the bigger picture in regards to this understanding for NBS or for Next Media and for the union? And also, just a quick question that I just want a yes or no answer to is, have you heard about Sky Scout Group?
No.
Okay, so then you can just continue with the bigger picture thing.
But I might not have heard the name, but maybe I know about the concept.
Okay, just a bit of a trivia is Sky Scout Group is the reason why Kao Sports stopped streaming, because they were supposed to handle that. And that was just as the previous 15th season was supposed to start. But then nothing has been done ever since. So I wouldn't like any new stakeholder or service provider to come into the picture and then have to have a tug of war with someone.
No, we've not heard about that. But we are fairly confident that we should be safe. At least the most important thing is that we've put this pen to paper in good faith on both ends.
Okay.
We've outlined what our obligations are to each other, what we need to deliver on. And yeah, we can count on that. At the end of the day, it's not, I said I could do this, you said you could do this.
Yeah.
We are two entities that are professionally obligated or committed to doing a few things here and there. But then again, that doesn't mean that is, it's really like a key performance indicator for anyone that is out there. There is a key performance indicator in terms of within this quarter, we are going to measure you against if you did this, you did this, you did this. For those who are working in former working places, it doesn't mean that those are the only 4 things that you need to do within those 4 months. You could do 20 things, but we are really going to measure because those are the most strategic ones. If you've done this, to what level, to what level, to what level. So we have those obligations in place. Again, for me, it is to say, I urge all of us to just
Embrace
come
it.
out and
Embrace.
well, you see, when I say embrace, it's like I am campaigning, please accept us, love us, and all of that. I'm not trying to ask you to love us to do that. I'm just saying, could we smell the coffee and say, you know what, guys, I see, and this is really what I am saying. NBA Sport, every single day at 10 a.m., we have federation updates.
Yeah.
As Pirates Rugby Club, as Heathens, as Cobs, as Impies, as Mongers, as whoever, can I request for time and set up my press conference on this day? I'll be here. These guys are going to come and cover it. But then again, we still see events that could have been taking advantage of that airtime, still setting up their press conferences for 3 p.m. So what I'm saying is, can we smell that coffee and know, oh, these guys have sport this morning, every single morning, and they are hosting people. Ruben, we need to address this and this and this in rugby. Get on your phone, get on your email, whatever it is, your WhatsApp. Who do you know? Get in touch, guys. We have this story going on, and can you maybe fix us somewhere? Guys, we have training today, and this player got injured. Desire, I see you talk about injuries on your show and stuff like that. This is an update we have from our club.
Team news, basically.
Yeah. Exactly. There is team news. There are so many opportunities. Don't just focus on the live broadcast. Don't just focus on, we have this concept, we need to push it up. Because you see, if this concept is together, you are spending on it every single week.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? Before you think about what you're spending on every week, what are the low-hanging fruits that we can take care of? Yeah? Can we have our game in there? Can we ensure that there are WhatsApp groups where we have key media personnel, and they don't have to be NBS Sport people only, where they are saying that, oh, by the way, I'm here. And I'm saying this because I've actually done it. I used to work with a basketball club before I joined Next Media. And there was a point where they looked like they were the champions of the league. It was only the women's team, the JKL Lady Dolphins, the JKL Dolphins. And how were we doing it? I didn't even have a single budget. We had a WhatsApp group where I had basketball journalists. And every before a game, I told my coaches, and it was a rule, you have to give us a bite before we go on. No, before the game, you give me the team sheet.
Yeah.
And we'll design a piece of artwork.
Yeah.
And we'll put it out there. And everyone that went back through that chat group, they knew that Jamila Nanskomi was not available for this game because they told us this. After training, I am recording those bites for this coach from these coaches, and I'm saying, what did you see the training as? We have a game tomorrow. What is the team news here? And the coach is recording that. And I'm uploading it to that WhatsApp group. Before I knew it, we are Family FM, please come and speak about this. We're doing that. So let's take advantage of especially the free, where we don't have to spend, because we're not making that money as clubs and as players. The low-hanging fruits. How can we position ourselves? And then there's been the issue whereby, because now what we're dealing with is, if there's a big story breaking in rugby, let's follow it. Rujumba has done something, let's go and talk to him.
Yeah.
But not every day are we going to have those big stories. But that doesn't mean there's no news that is being covered. Take the initiative.
Yeah, so
And I think we'll do great.
I think
things
that's
for them.
great, and we look forward to see what NBS is going to be giving us broadcasting this Rujumba Sevens. And as we come to the end of the podcast, I just want to bring Marcelina in. I know she has been a bit quiet, but now the spotlight is going to be on her. Just to tell us a little bit about the Rujumba Sevens, maybe the background, because the name Rujumba, first of all, is very, very similar to one of the people that always pulls a lot of ropes with the Uganda Rugby Union. Maybe just to give us a bit of a background about that before we go into anything else. Let's just use about 5 minutes to really talk about this and paint a picture.
So the Stanbic Rujumba Sevens are Rujumba Sevens. Every year I think we play them as the common factor is Rujumba, the name. So Rujumba Sevens are named after Henry Rujumba. This was one of the legendary players who played in Pirates a time back. He was one of those boys who started out their rugby journeys in Ontario school. He has a story. He's those guys who came out and they say he played like John Lomu. I didn't get Lomu. I didn't get to watch him, but they say he had really exceptional rugby. They say he was a big winger. That is one of the things that fascinates me. I wish I had seen a big winger, a big guy managing the wing. It sounds interesting in the mind, but everyone has that story about him. But a big emphasis is this weekend's games are still called the Stanbic Rujumba Sevens, but we as Stanbic Black Pirates are choosing to remember all our fallen heroes. We have quite a number. We have Deo Gracious Tumuhaire, who passed on recently. We have Derek Kaswabuli. We have,
Derek Kaswabuli
is my classmate.
Yeah.
I've played
And a
against
very good
him in
friend
high
of mine.
school and in clubs. So may
so
his soul continue to rest in peace.
Amen. Then we have Bewate, this young man who was stabbed recently. He was actually a part of us. We have quite a number of people. So it's Rujumba Sevens, because Rujumba Sevens has become a brand to us. It's now something we market as a Stanbic owned circuit name, but we want it to stand out like a Heroes Day. It's a day to remember everyone who contributed. Maybe in the near future, in the Stanbic Rujumba Sevens, the Challenger Cup will maybe be called the Ograsha something Cup, or we shall break down something in there, maybe give the MVP an award, maybe the Kaswabuli award.
Yes.
Yeah, but for us, it's about the great Henry Rujumba and what he did for the club, and even at the time when he rested and stopped playing, and we were the club he served, even when he went onto national duty. So we continue to remember him, but in hand with everyone else who has played for us. So really, that's the background of the Rujumba Sevens, not the Rujumba that is happening. But he's a
still
very
welcome to
brilliant
attend.
man. But
He
he's
was
very
also a
you see,
Pirates
he has a
player.
root in our club.
Yes.
So but yes.
Yeah. So, but before we close, there have been so far 3 circuits. We're going into the 4th one. We want to understand what is going to be different from a fan's experience, because I believe the best way for us to grow rugby is not only to grow it as a sport on the field, but to grow it as a lifestyle, to grow it as something that if everyone from any walk of life can be able to assimilate with. So how is what do you guys have in store? And in particular, there's one person who told me to say their name when they are even asking. Raymond, one of our fat cats, was asking what is the plan in regards to Nigos. So
Raymond's concerns are loud and clear. He has a tendency of Sisi Marcelina. I have heard, sir. But for the fans' experience, we are taking the fans' experience very serious this weekend, because the fans are the 15th player in sevens, right? Yes,
13th, you could
13th.
say, yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Technically,
taking
let's
the
go with
number. Yes.
13th.
Yes, but they are the extra player, and
Yes.
they're probably the stronger player. Sometimes the fans, not sometimes, I like to say most times, the fans are stronger than the team sometimes. Because if the fans are not here to.
We're the heathens with you.
So this weekend we're looking at creating, first of all, a home background for everyone. Yes, these games will be at Kings Park Arena for us, and it was home to the Stanbic Black Pirates. But we want all rugby fans to come in and get a feel of the good sport, get a feel of the food, be in an environment where we are all equals. I like rugby because it brings us down. I do not like to go to games where I see VIP And I want us to all feel the same. Maybe it's the only time I'll get to sit next to Derek and say hi to him. I mean,
I've always
and you'll see him on TV and be like, "Oh, yeah, I sat next to that guy on Saturday." I want to say that at Kings Park we are going to create a situation where you can say hi to everyone.
Okay.
That means you probably have seen Ruben talk about something on the TL and you have wanted to give him your opinion. So you'll walk up to him and tell him, "So I saw this." Then you probably ask Raymond, "Why is Negos the biggest concern you have when it comes to?" Yeah, we want to create that. So we'll have food facilities around like we always do. There'll be coffee. The rugby chill is fully hands-on for the beer people. We have the bucket offers for the beers. We have flexi pay on the discount payments. If you were at Kings Park when we did some flexi pay payments, it was really massive at the counters. We have we're going to create a situation in which every after game day, Saturday usually, of course, the players will retire to rest, but we'll have a party at Kings Park as usual, the Rugby Chill or Saturday edition. We hope to have DJ Boogie on ground. Now Special has promised us their performing DJs. Then on Sunday, Rugby Chill will completely be in charge for the evening session. DJ Cross, DJ Alza, Michi and the band for people who would like to wind down. Saturday is a calm day. Sunday is a calmer day. You can come in with family. We'll create that situation where it's a friendly situation. It's a full day. It's a 2-day weekend tournament, so you do not want to leave your family behind, or your wife should not be asking you, "But today and tomorrow?" Bring her around on Sunday. There's always buffet served at Kings Park on game days. So some people prefer to have buffet. Others want to have real meals. There's coffee. There's juice. There's cocktails coming in. So I think we are ready to have everyone around. So we are ready. The security is okay. The parking is available. The players' village is safe. Everything is going to be fun. And we are working on the levels of where people will be sitting. And so I think it's a good day to come out and watch some good rugby. And we believe the fans will be comfortable, honestly.
That's interesting. That's very, very interesting. Zaya, you look like you had something you wanted to put out.
I just want to give credit to the rugby team. I want to give credit to the Pirates guys. Because one of the concerns some people express were, but you see, when the game is live on TV, then no one will want to come to the game and all of that. And it's not a point in this day and age. Because if I choose to stay at home, it should feel like it's a disadvantage.
Yeah.
Because I won't get Raymond's favorite thing.
Yeah.
I won't eat.
Yeah.
I won't meet my friends. Generally, I won't get the things that she is experiencing.
Yeah.
Not going to the game. Of course, again, the other differentiator that NBA Sport does bring on top of everything is even if you don't have data, you can watch this. You get what I mean? So away from the hundreds that should be able to access it on stream, you have the millions that are naturally watching the station anyways. There are so many people that have sent us feedback of, "I'd never watched hockey before, but it's actually fun. I never paid attention to pool because I thought it was this and this, but it's actually fun." Now imagine with every conversation that goes on about rugby on the timeline, someone lands on it. So I credit to these guys and the Rugby Chill who actually prefer the fun experience is what brings people back.
Yes, exactly.
The fun experience, the songs. And again, when I came the first time this season, I missed only 3 games last season.
Wow.
Only 3 games, home or away. The first one, I just didn't come. I came for the second game, Heathens versus Cobbs, won that one. I didn't return the next weekend because I was fixed and they were traveling to Ginger for the Hippos game. Watched everything else. The other 2, the other game I missed 4. The other 2 I missed were because I am behind and we were in a fasting period and I just could not be at a rugby game with a fun experience at the rugby game while also fasting. So those are only 4 games that I missed last year. You get what I mean? I have not missed a single circuit this year. I know for a fact I'm not missing any circuit this year.
Wow.
That I know. And it really is because when I am with Eddie, when I am with Pepper, with Ken, with all these people, the Heathens fans, we just know we are going to have a good time, whichever ground we are going to. There will be drinks, there will be food, but very importantly, that camaraderie, that we are singing and we are being silly and we're just having a good time. I will never, unless I need to meet a certain CEO that we need to close a deal with. Matter of fact, there are CEOs that I have convinced, and hey, you are watching, yeah? I'm still waiting for you. That we shall sit within the Chirasha.
Yeah.
Because it's a different experience. If it's my choice, I'm never sitting in the VIP. To do what?
VIP is boring, man.
To do what? Because that is, again, what I like. But over and above, I just wanted to also close this one up by stating how if you are not able to come to Kings Park, either on Saturday or Sunday or on both days or whichever, yes, the games are going to be live. So we have the feed for TV. Of course, this weekend also has the marathon in Kasese, which, again, as people who are champion in Ugandan sport, will need to get in, come out, get in, come out. But that said, we have the option on the AfroMobile on the stream. We have a channel called NBS Live, which is going to have the rugby from when it starts to when it ends. Wow. The advantage on that one is that even if at 4 p.m. or 4:30 p.m. as they go into maybe different, we're also working with the organizers to ensure that the action fits within that time frame. But even if it goes beyond, what we're working towards is that this NBS channel will have it until it ends. So there's NBS Live on the AfroMobile app that will show all the action through it all. The television will also have that activity in there as much as possible. So the AfroMobile app for the streams, NBS Sport on free-to-air, on Star Times, and on DSTV, available for you to watch. And if you don't know what the numbers are, any artwork from NBS Sport, including the one that is promoting the Rujumba Sevens, at the bottom, how you can watch is fully explained. So let's have fun and hope for the best. We are all learning how to execute this kind of thing and stuff like that, but we know for sure we are starting at a very high level. Before I came here, we were at the Kings Park. They've been very helpful. We've done our recce. We've identified where we're going to be constructing our they have their technical language they use, but those platforms that they use. So we'll have at the very least 5 cameras that will be broadcasting this particular game.
Wonderful.
We're deploying at both tri-lines. We are deploying at the center line. Again, they have their technical language. And at the center line, there are 2 cameras, one that will take care of the wide shot, another one for the close-ups and stuff like that. And we are planning on a camera on the touchline for the substitutes, the coaches and stuff like that. So yes, as far as technical ability, we know we'll be starting at a very high level as the team, of course, gets in there. Of course, just like when I leave one TV station and I go to another one, the moment I'm in a new studio, I'm in a new studio. I am good at what I do, I am experienced, but I'm in a new studio and I get used to it and stuff like that. But together, we're going to work through this thing. It's a multi-year deal. We are going to get this right.
Have a TMO maybe even.
Marcelina, any last words for us?
Last words for everyone. First of all, I'd like to invite everyone, far and near. Have you heard about rugby? If you haven't heard about rugby, come and learn rugby. I want to especially invite females who think rugby men are nice to look at. Come and watch rugby. Come and say hi. Come and learn the sport. This is how it starts. When you come around, you'll see something and ask, what's that? And your neighbor will explain to you. I bet your neighbor will explain to you what's happening. But I really want to see more ladies in the sport on this side. Recently, we were at a presser, and we were about 2 ladies there at the presser, and so many gentlemen. So my family kept saying, so how are you like in this sport? I'm like, it's very complicated, but the point is I'm here. So, but I want to invite everyone, families, veteran players of all clubs, current players, family members to current players, friends, acquaintances, bosses, fans of every club. this is one of the weekends I expect every club to make an appearance and have a set of fans. Every time it's King's Park, you're going to either see pirates on this side, then heathens on the other side. So you identify us by the kind of noise. So these ones are singing like those songs, and these ones are instigating them.
Yeah.
So I would like to see hippos come out with their crowd, warriors with their crowd, cobs with their crowd. Let everyone come, mingle, banter, mingle, banter. It's part of the sport. And also, just for clarity, the Stanbic Rujumba Sevens will be starting at 8 a.m. on the 3rd, that's September, Saturday morning.
Yeah.
And we shall have group stages on Saturday. And then on Sunday, we shall go into the fathers of the quarters, the semis, the finals, and the cups.
How
and
much are
everything.
people paying?
Entrance is 10,000 shillings per day at the gate in cash. And if you're going to use FlexiPay, then the app on your phone, you'll be able to pay 18,000 for both days for a 2-day ticket. And yes, there'll be all that. And then for media people, today the media has been shooting me down. But we have been provided with standard media lists that run every game. These are media houses that have done wide coverage and all that, and Union has been able to at least get someone from each of these media houses. So we do have lists of, I want to call them pre-accredited. These lists don't change. I consulted and these lists don't change.
Okay.
So we shall be having those people, but also to all those who are like, we have freelance photographers, coverage people who want to get in. We have some slots, they're limited number, but we have some slots for freelancers who want to come around and try your thing out at Rujumba Sevens with the games. So we want, the link has been put on the official page, the official club account page. So you can get into there, and then we shall be putting the confirmation list of those who will be accredited on Friday. Will be noticed. There will be a notice. What else? Come one, come all. I hope my team is listening because we are bringing fire. This is the home circuit. Stanbic Rujumba Sevens. This is some. See, Desire has this
also,
tendency.
if you come in on Saturday or Sunday and you are trying to choose the team, she's wearing a very beautiful color.
So is he. You know, he's forgotten that he's actually wearing everything that my poster is talking about. But yes, to the Stanbic Black Pirates fans, come one, come all. There's no excuse whatsoever. We have sung. I have about 300 fans on my WhatsApp platforms.
Wow.
So I expect really
great.
big
That's
numbers because I expect you to come with family, friend, relative, neighbor. Mami neighbor to Mulekayo, umeme do that thing. So let people board. But let's come. Let's have a good time. I want to just shout out to Stanbic Bank for standing with us in this. It's been a really heavy one, but our sponsors showed up. Next Media has done a really, really good job. We have had airtime. People have asked me, how are you doing it? And I told them I have airtime. Every day you will hear from a Stanbic. Every day. You see, Union and NBS and Next Media through NBS did a swap thing. And me, I am a believer of swap deals because that is how we move things at Stanbic Black Pirates. We and swap deals with guys day in medical, FHNS. FHNS, special shout out to FHNS. They are really, really coming in big for us on medical for our boys. We shall have a medical camp for people who have sports injuries for the 2 days at King's Park, provided by FHNS for free. Come get consultation, ask why your Achilles is not operating anymore. So we want to have that as well. We want to shout out Safe Border. They'll be giving discounted rides on the app. You just have to type in King's Park and they'll be having station bikes coming in and out. King's Park for the venue, Rugby Chill, Century Bottling Company through Renzori doing for us the water. And then Niles Special coming in big, definitely as the holders of the whole circuit. So yes, I expect to see everyone, and thank you Fat Cat so much for pushing rugby a step higher and creating a platform for us to talk about this. So Stanbic Rujumba 7, see you all 8 a.m. Saturday.
Right, good to go.
Edwin,
Yeah.
you call yourself the octopus, Who's winning this
This
weekend?
one. At least I should be given room to be wrong today, but that is it's so automatic. I would want to, I don't know if they can meet in the semis, but I think it would be a good matchup of Pirates seasons. Why? Because there is that stake on the line, the final, and Pirates is that team that comes back with good vengeance. But also Heathens knows how to put you down when you come with so much beef and Malala. So they'll know how to put you down and you relax. And I mean, for the vibe of having Kings Park a little bit late, I think it would be fair that we have a
Cobs
sorry,
somewhere.
not Cobs. Why am I bringing Cobs in this conversation? A Pirates Heathens final.
Okay.
I don't know how the fixtures will tally up. You know, sometimes you can do the math and you see where they'll meet.
Yeah.
But I really hope they can meet in the final. Ginger Hippos, sorry, but this one is for the big boys. So maybe Ginger Hippos will come in as spoilers. They'll beat one of the teams, one of you two. But I really want a Cobs Heathens final.
What's
I
with
bring
you and
Cobs.
Cobs, man?
Pirates Heathens final, and then let the party rock after. That's what I want.
All right.
Yes.
My money remains on Hippos regardless.
Yeah.
But this has been a very, very insightful conversation.
We
Desire.
don't get to predict.
Eh?
Right?
No,
I was
we all know
waiting.
your prediction.
No, what if we're not going to predict that? Okay, let's predict
No,
second,
Ah,
third,
predict.
I
third,
just
and
want to predict
Uh-huh.
Yes.
that the zero will be maintained.
Wow.
On
zero,
on zero.
We are going there like that.
You say
It's like that.
Zaya has a lot of fire.
19, 20, those
3-0.
0. Yeah.
I want to
It would,
predict.
honestly, it would be
I-
really nice.
Yeah,
In
it would be
way
nice.
getting it.
Yeah.
My friend, what will you tell me?
Marcelina, are you still confident enough to make your prediction?
I just want to say
Mm.
that I say Warriors may be a party spoiler because Warriors put Heathens on 1912 in Arua, and I wanted to see that game. I said, which Heathens did? Bro, but you guys have no hope. Okay. Anyway, Hippos will come in big.
The
and-
problem is
and-
Edwin stopped playing.
He stopped playing. He was the superstar.
Let's retire.
I think that was really down to a bit of discipline. There was a failed interception. That was one of the yellow cards. The other one, I tend to forget which one. Then the third yellow card was at the death.
Yeah.
You know, I think one adjudged to be a high tackle and stuff like that. It was a discipline thing, but I also feel like they must have undermined big, comfortable lead in the first half, going to the second, and then just switched off that one level. And it's what you're finished. So,
Will be good rugby. Sailors, I hope my sailors boys can hear me. Do something for me. I'm not even going to call you the party spoilers because we already have our home deal. But yeah, we'll spoil it.
Well, anyway, this has been very interesting. I thank you guys for your time. And thanks for everyone that is always on the Fat Cats platforms engaging with us. All those that really comment in the YouTube section. Remember, you can always follow this podcast on YouTube or on your favorite audio platform, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and more. There's a lot of this information on our social media platforms. And the Rujumba Sevens. Kings Park is the place to be. The Rugby Chill is the place to be. And as Marcelina said, that there are going to be probably a lot of new ladies coming around. The Fat Cats, we pledge our knowledge to teach these ladies that this is how rugby is played. This is the beer that is supposed to be taken. So see you guys at the Rugby Chill, and cheers.
Yes.